is something so refreshing, so challenging, so special about fishing a beautiful flowing stream surrounded by magnificent scenery. Unfortunately, this pleasure is denied to millions of Americans with limited mobility, the elderly, the disabled. Many anglers who had once enjoyed the pleasures of stream fishing are now, because of accident, illness, or just the frailty that comes with age, no longer able to get to the water's edge. But the desire, the dream to fish those streams once again doesn't go away. The nature of many streams is that the banks are steep and often thick with brush. Only the most agile of anglers can scramble down these banks, and in the process can damage them.
Steep banks are not negotiable. If there are a lot of rocks, it can be a problem. And also slippery areas can be a problem, whether it's slick mud or wet leaves or just slippery grass on the slope can cause people like me to take a spill.
Most areas, there's no sense in even trying. I'd either kill myself or somebody to chase me off the property, or it's been impossible to get to these streams and rivers. Grass, anything that'll grow, forget it, you can't get through it. There are all kinds of obstructions, roots, trees falling down over the trails, just about anything. It's being in a chair is it's a little tough sometimes.
To make it easier for people with limited mobility to access good fishing pools, a group of volunteers from several fishing clubs in New York began to construct paths down to the Beaverkill and Willowemoc rivers. Their effort became known as Project Access, and since its first pathway several years ago, Project Access has provided quality fishing for scores of anglers with limited mobility, and at the same time has helped protect stream banks at these popular spots.
What we're trying to do is break it to level it up. Where fish would be right here.
The aim of this video is to encourage others across the country to invest a few hours, perhaps some sweat, and start their own Project Access program, so that those who could not otherwise make it to the stream will be able to fish with their able-bodied friends. Joan Stoliar, founder and guiding light of Project Access.
I'm walking near one of the best fishing spots on the Beaverkill. In fact, you can see the caddis coming off the river. You want to be on the river fishing, but not everybody can get there. We can help them to get there, though. We look at a site with certain criteria. We look for good water. We look for a parking lot. We look for natural pattern on the site itself. This is a path that was worn by fishermen because it was a natural way to walk. Look at the width between the trees. We wouldn't have to disturb the site at all, and that's part of our criteria. Leave it as natural as possible. Surface it with natural-looking material.
The area should be an area where there is a good fishing hole, where there is a pool or a run that is productive for fishing. It is not sensible to make an easy access to an area where there aren't going to be any fish. So number one, you have to have a good area for fishing. And you have to have an area which is relatively easy to get into the fishing area. And then our job would be to develop an access off the bank where the individual would be able to walk either with crutches, cane, just being infirm, or actually a wheelchair, and get him to this spot without altering the river or its natural bank area.
The three criteria for a Project Access site are good fishing, parking close by, suitable terrain. Before embarking on a Project Access program, it's important to establish contact with your state Fish and Wildlife Agency and the local authorities. They can assist with site selection and provide help obtaining permission. Often there are state and local parks by good fishing streams that are ideal for a project access pathway. Plan the route of the path so that as little of the vegetation is removed as possible. Not only will the path be more pleasing aesthetically, but the trees and shrubs on the bank help hold the soil during high water. Design the path to descend at a rate no greater than 1 foot per 12, even less if possible. Depending on the height of the stream bank and the natural configuration of the land, several switchbacks might be needed to maintain a gradual descent to the water's edge. The path should be at least 3 feet wide, and at the point where the path switches direction, there should be a landing 5 feet wide. Here, a wheelchair can safely maneuver the corner. It is also a place where someone may rest or pull off to let others pass. The path should be level from side to side. For those on crutches or in a wheelchair, negotiating a path that tilts to one side makes balancing quite difficult.
See where my wheels were right here?
Yeah.
I would level it off right
All right,
here
that's what I was asking.
and let it grade down like that.
There is no better way to get it right than by having someone in a wheelchair close by while the path is being built. During construction, there should be one person who supervises and directs the work, preferably someone with a practical bent, common sense, and who has had some experience with landscaping projects. Such a person can provide guidance, answer questions, and assign work duties. Shovels, rakes, hoes, pickaxes, and wheelbarrows, and a dozen people in work gloves are all you will need to cut a path. To build a level path, cut into the side of the bank and use the earth you remove to build up the downhill side. The work should be divided between those digging and those spreading the dirt with rakes. If everyone works together as a team, you'll be surprised how much can be accomplished in a few hours. Stones can be used to help stabilize the downhill side, but be prepared that high water may wash them away. A system of pins and rails was used at one site along the Beaverkill that held up quite well. The fill dirt on the downhill side should be regularly tamped to compact the loose soil. Without tamping, the soil will eventually settle, creating soft spots and ripples. Once the path has been smoothed and tamped firm, it is ready for surface material. Without a hard-packed surface, the path could quickly become soft and rutted, impassable for wheelchairs or crutches. Use a surface material which blends in with the landscape. Gravel and wood chips may look good, but are difficult for wheelchairs to negotiate. On the paths along the Beaverkill, a mixture of clay, fine gravel, and sand was used. It looks like dirt, but packs so firmly that even after a heavy rain, wheelchairs have no problem. A local civic-minded gravel company donates the material and delivers it to the site several days before the work session. After evenly spreading the surfacing material to a depth of at least 3 inches, it has to be carefully tamped down and smoothed out. In just one morning, with careful planning, these volunteers created a path to the edge of good fishing water. Now this special spot is accessible to everyone, not only the disabled, but also the elderly, anyone who has problems with rough terrain.
And the fact that it's all volunteer labor is a very important part of it. These are doable projects. And when people finish them, they see them done in a few hours, and they come back again and again and look at their handiwork. That's very important when you get volunteer help.
It's a great way to spend a Saturday morning. Good people, good exercise, and you're doing something worthwhile. It feels good. I can't wait to bring my grandfather down here. He loves trout fishing, and now he can get to the stream again.
We've had no problems getting volunteers to help in this project. In fact, many work groups, work bees that we've had have had more people available to work than the actual path would need.
Where there are streams, there will be floods, and these paths usually need some maintenance in the spring.
we haven't had any problems with them washing out. The main problem is deposition of sand. They get covered with sand in the spring. A crew comes in and through handwork removes the sand or any other deposits.
Each spring, just before opening day, the volunteers return for a morning of fixing the paths. Deposits and debris are removed, and the surfacing material that washed away replaced. In a few hours, the paths are again in shape for the coming fishing season. If you are interested in developing a project access program, the first task is to find someone who will volunteer to take charge of the organizing. Someone to do the planning, the telephoning, the cajoling that is crucial with any volunteer effort. Remember, it's important to coordinate with your state Fish and Wildlife Agency and the local authorities. And contact local merchants. Some would welcome the opportunity to become involved. Budge Loakley is proprietor of a fishing tackle shop in Roscoe, New York.
As you get a little older yourself, you start to think more about what's in store for you. And fly fishing has certainly grown in popularity. And there's just many, many people as they get older or are disabled who no longer can do this. And these projects have been started in our area, and I just consider them extremely important, not only from a personal viewpoint, but just from the fact that you do things that are right to do, and that's it. Any other benefits, it's good for the town, it's good for the people, it's good for everyone.
Project access pathways have been good for the community and for the stream. The paths are often used by able-bodied anglers to get down to the water, saving wear and tear to the stream banks. And the presence of able-bodied anglers at these popular spots is a comfort to those that might need help in the event of a spill.
And another thing that they're doing, they're not putting these areas in just anywhere. They're putting them in where the fish are, and they know where the fish are. That's what's so great about it. You can come down here and really catch fish. They could be putting them way up the river somewhere where nobody catches any fish up there. They're putting them in prime fishing areas.
If local people can help the Fish and Game people find good access points and then fix these up for handicapped fishermen such as myself who get around on crutches, or people in wheelchairs, or just elderly people that need a smoother path to the water, we can really develop a lot of points all over the country on good water for us to get fishing. And I think that would be a great project for everyone to get involved in all around the country.
A wonderful dream is slowly taking shape. There will come a day, hopefully not too far in the future, when a person with limited mobility who loved and wanted to fish could find in every state across the country a beautiful stream with good fishing and good access. If you would like more information or to share news about your project so that it might be included in a future nationwide guide on accessible fishing, write Project Access, Post Office Box 299, New York, New York, 10014.